You just dropped $800 on a must-have ATV upgrade. The YouTube video said it would add 15 horsepower. The forum guys swore it transformed their machine. And now? You can't tell the difference. Except your wallet is lighter and your bike might actually run worse. Sound familiar? Good, because today we're cutting through the marketing BS and naming the ATV upgrades that are a complete waste of money. Not the cheap stuff, not the obvious scams. I'm talking about modifications that real riders buy every single day thinking they're improving their machine when they're actually doing nothing. Or worse, causing damage. If you're a senior rider from the US, Canada, or Europe who's been around long enough to know better but still gets tempted by shiny catalogs, this one's for you. Let's start with the biggest money pit of them all. Upgrade number 1. Aftermarket air intakes that eliminate the air box. You've seen them. Big foam filter, chrome tube, no air box. The marketing says maximum airflow and increased throttle response. Here's what actually happens. Your stock airbox is ugly, it's bulky, it's restrictive by design. But here's what it also does that your shiny pod filter doesn't. It creates still air. It settles dust before it reaches the filter, and most importantly, it keeps water out. The moment you bolt on an open element intake, you're turning your engine into a vacuum cleaner for mud, rain, and creek water. One splash. That's all it takes. Now you've got a hydro-locked engine with bent rods. But even in perfect dry conditions, these intakes don't make power on most ATVs. The stock airbox flows more than enough for a stock engine. Your butt dyno is lying to you. And your mechanic? He's seen this 100 times. He's the one pulling water out of your cylinders while you're writing a check for $2 grand. Here's the only time an open intake makes sense. Full race build, closed course, no water. For everyone else, you're paying money to break your machine. Stop it. Upgrade number 2. Cheap LED light bars. I get it. The stock headlights on most ATVs are terrible. You want to see the trail. You want to ride at night. So you buy that $90 light bar from an online marketplace with a brand name that looks like someone fell asleep on a keyboard. 30 hours later, it's full of condensation. The mounting bolts have rusted solid. Half the LEDs flicker. And the beam pattern? It's not a beam. It's just a wall of unfocused white noise that kills your depth perception and blinds everyone coming the other way. The problem isn't light bars. The problem is cheap light bars. Good lighting costs money. Proper optics cost money. Sealed housings with real gaskets cost money. That $80 special doesn't have any of that. It has a warranty that expires the moment you click __quote_3__. And here's the part nobody talks about. Even a good light bar is useless if you don't rewind the stator or add a proper relay harness. Most ATV charging systems are barely keeping up with stock loads. You bolt on 200 watts of LEDs without upgrading the electrical system? You're draining your battery every ride and burning up stators. Now that cheap light bar cost you a charging system too. Upgrade number 3. Exhaust systems without tuning. This one hurts because I love a good exhaust note. But here's the truth. Bolting on a slip-on or a full system without retuning the ECU is not an upgrade. It's a downgrade. Your stock fuel map is calibrated for the stock exhaust back pressure. Change that back pressure and the engine runs leaner. Leaner means hotter. Hotter means detonation. Detonation means melted pistons. That's not speculation. That's thermodynamics. I've seen so many riders spend $600 on a pipe, bolt it on, and then complain that the bike pops on deceleration and feels flat in the mid-range. Yeah, because it's lean. You need a fuel controller, you need a reflash. You need someone who knows what they're doing to spend an hour on the dyno, or at least data logging on the trail. So the real cost of that exhaust isn't $600. It's $600 plus $300 for a tuner, plus $200 for dyno time, plus $1,000 top-end rebuild when you ignore all of that and ride it anyway. Suddenly that stock pipe doesn't look so bad. Now here's where I want you to think. Have you bought an exhaust and run it without tuning? How did that work out? Or are you still convinced it's fine? Drop your story in the comments. Because the next upgrade on this list is even sneakier. Upgrade number 4. Oversized tires without re-gearing. Big tires look aggressive. Big tires give you more ground clearance. Big tires also destroy your machine if you don't do the math. Here's what happens when you go from 25-inch tires to 27 or 28 inches. You just increased your final drive ratio by 10 to 15%. That means your engine is working harder to turn those bigger hoops. That means your belt is slipping more. That means your clutch is getting hotter. That means your transmission is seeing loads it was never designed for. And the power loss? You just lost 10% of your torque to the ground. That machine that used to climb easily now bogs. That CVT that used to last 3,000 miles now needs a belt every 500. Those axle boots that never ripped? Now they're torn because the suspension geometry is off. But the real killer is braking. Bigger tires have more rotational mass and more leverage against your brake system. Your stock brakes were marginal on stock tires. On oversized rubber, you're not stopping. You're suggesting to the machine that it might want to consider slowing down eventually. If you want big tires, fine. But you also need lower gearing. That means smaller front sprocket or larger rear sprocket. That means a clutch kit to keep the CVT in the right power band. That means revalved shocks to handle the extra unsprung weight. And that means stronger brakes. Suddenly, that tire upgrade is a $2,000 project, not a $600 one. Upgrade number 5. Handlebar risers without cable extensions. This one seems so harmless. You're tall. You want to stand up more comfortably. So you buy a 2-inch handlebar riser. Simple, cheap. What could go wrong? Your throttle cable is now stretched to its absolute limit. At full left lock, the engine idles at $3,000 because the cable is pulling itself. Your brake line is under tension. One good hit from a rock or a tree branch, and that line snaps. And your clutch cable? It's fraying against the edge of the frame right now. You just can't see it yet. I've towed more than one rider out of the trail because their handlebar risers caused a cable failure 5 miles from the truck. And every single time they said the same thing. Underscore, underscore, quote, underscore, for, underscore, underscore. The right way to do risers is to also buy longer cables and a longer brake line. That adds cost. That adds installation time. That's why most people skip it. And that's why mechanics hate seeing risers on a machine without the supporting mods. Upgrade number 6. Unnecessary skid plates. Wait, skid plates are good. Skid plates protect your machine. I run skid plates. But here's the distinction that nobody makes. Full coverage aluminum skid plates are for rocks. Serious rocks. The kind of terrain where you're sliding over boulders and hearing metal scrape for hours. If you ride that terrain, yes, buy the expensive skid plate. But if you ride mud, sand, or hardpack, a full belly skid is just a dirt shelf. Mud gets trapped between the skid plate and the frame. It never dries. It holds moisture against your engine cases and electrical components. I've seen frames rust out faster because of a skid plate than without one. I've seen starters fail because they were packed with dried mud that never fell out. The stock plastic skid plates on most ATVs are fine for 90% of riders. They flex. Mud falls off. Rocks? No, they're not good for rocks. But if you're not riding rocks, you're adding weight and trapping debris for no benefit. Before you buy that 1/2-inch aluminum belly pan, ask yourself one question. When's the last time you actually hit something hard enough to damage your engine cases? If the answer is never or once 5 years ago, save your money. Upgrade number 7. Quote 5. Ignition coils. This one is pure snake oil. And I want to be very clear so nobody argues with me in the comments. Your stock ignition coil either fires the spark plug or it doesn't. There's no in between. A underscore underscore quote underscore 6 underscore underscore coil with lower primary resistance does not make more power. It does not improve throttle response. It does not give you a quote 7. What it does do is potentially damage your ignition module by drawing too much current. And it might cause radio interference if you're running any electronics. That's it. The only time you need a different coil is if your stock coil is failing, or if you've built a high-compression engine that needs a wider spark gap to light a denser mixture. For a stock or mildly modified ATV, the coil on your bike right now is fine. That $100 performance coil is $100 you could have spent on gas and trail passes. The bottom line, look. I'm not saying don't modify your ATV. I'm saying modify it with purpose. Every part you bolt on should solve a problem you actually have, not a problem a marketing department invented. Before you buy anything, ask yourself 3 questions. Does this fix something that's actually broken or limiting me? Does this require other supporting mods to work correctly? And would a skilled mechanic look at this and nod, or look at this and sigh? If you can't answer yes to the first question and you're not sure about the other 2, stop. Put the credit card down. Go ride your machine the way it is. You might discover it was fine all along. Now it's your turn. What's the dumbest ATV upgrade you ever bought? The one that made you feel like an idiot the moment you installed it? Or worse, the one that cost you a breakdown on the trail? Comment below, name and shame. Because if we can't laugh at our own bad decisions, what's the point of owning a quad? And if you want the follow-up video where I actually name the upgrades that are worth every penny, hit that like button and I'll see you in the next one. Keep the rubber side down and your wallet closed unless you're sure.